Hello, I'm sharing something that I learned yesterday. I was having a little binge and was watching Rachel at Roxy Creations, and she shared a journal that she had made. So she shared the journal because she loved the way it was done, and she learned from Sandy at Septeria. Septeria 18. I will include that information, hers and Rachel's, in the description below. So Rachel first shared one that she had made by following Sandy's instructions, and hers was on a Christmas journal. And then she said, well, I think I'm going to share how to do it, and I was absolutely entranced. Something so simple and yet so workable. So, by the end of part 2 of Rachel's journal, which, if you are not acquainted with Rachel at Roxy Creations, make haste. I have received this piece of painted paper in a Happy Mail, and I absolutely and utterly love it. And when Rachel was making hers, I flashed on this and said, you know, I have lots of bits of paper in bright colors that are in my stash in the closet here. Well, for the first time, I think ever, I got up, turned off my tablet, got up, trolled within my papers for things that I thought, oh, this will do, that will do, because in the back of my head, since working on my spread in the signature of my Halloween journal, I realized that I do want to have a place in which I can flip paint and do whatever it is that I want to do. I think they are called on Instagram, I think they are called Get Messy art journals. And I just love everyone's that I see, and I thought, well, if this isn't a wonderful cover idea. So I have this in hand, the cover. I went and I foraged around, and I came up with some papers. This is a piece of paper from also from this Happy Mail. And what this technique takes is this to make it work. Simply gluing a hinge. So I glued many hinges, papers that I don't use that often, but there's the hinge. There it is, and I rubbed a little bit too hard here to get some of the fabric tack off, and it took some color off the paper, and I thought, well, isn't this just a lovely start for, I'll stop, you got the picture. I simply have to have some watercolor paper in everything. So, are you starting to see how much fun this all is? And etc., etc., and through papers that were up on the shelf behind me, and those so far are the basis of this. Now, I have some left over, and I thought I would make a few, just a few with you, because after you've seen the technique here for one, you don't certainly need to see me do 8 of them. So I'm going to take these two, and these are the two. This is a folder that was that seen better days, so I chopped it up, and I thought, why not? Another piece of jelly print from the same Happy Mail, and this is the basis. I'm going to use this blue hinge. If I want, the side that I want to show has to be on the inside. Fold. Waxed paper. And here we go. I'm going to fold these two together. And since I've done all of these with Fabri-Tac, I want to continue until I have all of the individual bits. And when I put those bits together, I'm going to try using some Elmer's Extreme because Rachel did use them, and I think it's a lot easier to work with. So, about in the middle, edge to edge, hopefully. Glue down, hold in place. There we go. Glue on the other side that you don't want to show. And this one down here, trying to get all these edges lined up very nicely. Hold the glue. Hold the glue, and you will see what we have. Two bits together. Put that aside to dry. And the next two. Well, I'm really not going to be using paper like this, and I had it for probably 2 years, so this would be a perfect place. And I'm probably even going to rip some of these edges. Why not? Let's see. Oh, look what I have here. Yes, it's this paper. Now, I want this side to show, so this side gets glued. This project of mine is huge in comparison to what Sandy did in Septeria 18, and Rachel brought it up a notch and then never one to try things without following something that I've been dying to do, which is to make myself a playbook, a play glue and paint and art journaling and just having fun journal, and using this lovely piece of original art as the cover. These could be up, down, however you want them, as long as they line up here at the edge so that the hinge works. right. Here, 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 and here. Let it dry. And I have two more to do, which I will do without taking up your time. And when they are dry, I will get back and we will talk about the next step, which is just as easy as this one. And I bet some of you have already figured out what that next step might be. I'll be right back. I'm using part of the wider pieces of my long scrap collection to make hinges. So that we can get on. There we go. And I'm just going to mix these up and not think about it because I was starting to overthink before. There. Let's also set this aside. Now, as I'm sure you have imagined, the goal now is to connect this one to this one. So then we'll have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 as a starter, because it's just going to continue right along like that. So let's see what Elmer's Extreme is going to do, if anything. Look what I did. Were you telling me? I bet you were. You were saying, Carol. Well, a little glue on the fingers never killed anyone. Not in what we do. Okay. Let's have a baby wipe to save the day. What would we do without them? Now, okay, Elmer's Extreme kicked in. Let's just make sure we add some more here. And that's going to have to dry. So this becomes a hinge here. This will be so much easier to do when I haven't got messy fingers. So let's open this one, and there we go. A little bit more glue here. And this one to it. And now this one comes next. go. Here we are. This is certainly not challenging, but the result is just more fun than I could stand. So I want to thank Sandy on Septeria 18 and Rachel for learning from Sandy, and Sandy getting me up out of my binge position. This is probably the first time I ever did that, where I literally got up and had at it. It doesn't make any difference how careful or not that you want to be. Now, if you were doing it for something other than what I'm going to be using it for, then you might want to look a little bit more carefully at how the papers are glued together. But your goal is to keep those folds lined up nicely. Make sure I don't do any sudden moves here. Okay, you're over. No. You're over. You are next. I'm going to do it this way. Yes, I am. By the time you see this, I will be back from our leaf peeping expedition. We'll have some goodies to share with you. If you'll notice the size of this group, it has nothing to do. It was just using things that my hand hit. I'm thinking I'm liking this Elmer's Extreme for this job, and Rachel, as I said, did use PVA, or I think it's PVA glue. I have to look up some of that and purchase some on Amazon. And down we go. Down we go. See how many pages we have already. This is going to be thick. I'm going to have to give this another fold or two. Over. Now here's light paper, hinged. This nice piece of graph paper, old graph paper, is now going to be right here. Ish. bit of glue seepage out. And down it is. Now I'm going to put some more together and give this grouping a chance to dry. Whoa. Okay. Oh my, this is going faster than I thought it was. I'm going to include the ones from today in with these, and I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to come back to you when I have everything glued together, and then we'll attempt the next hurdle. I'm going to let this speak for itself. I think I missed the memo about size. I don't know whether to laugh or cry, but I'm going to show you all of this no matter what. That's the size. Let me tell you exactly what it is. I'll cheat. I'll go in here. It's better. Oh, 1.5 inches. Well, when you watch Sandy and Rachel, you'll understand why I don't know whether to laugh or cry. And I thank God that I had these. Used to use those to attach needlepoint frames to tables. They worked beautifully. And now, this puppy's going to have to get some more folds because that's going to be the cover. The wraparound cover. Like that. Alrighty. Let's just say that this is the center fold. So I'm going to do 1 inch on each side to give a little play here. 1 inch on each side it is. And I'm going to fold there. And fold again here. Makes a difference, Carol. It really does. Okay, let's have 1 inch in. And the fold there. Glue. Here. And okay. And this paper with all of this beautiful painting and sealing. Thank heavens it's sealed, because it can certainly take my abuse. Yes, it can. It can take what I dish out. And I'm thinking, I don't know why, because my attention to this has been questionable. I want the inside of this to be yellow. I don't know why. I just do. So, a nice acrylic paint is coming now, and I'm going to add that to this. Another thing that you certainly don't need to watch happen. I'll be back again. Well, I have to say that out of everything bad comes something good. That was my grandmother's favorite expression. Well, where will I start? Do you want to save the book again? I bet you do. Here it is. Together. And these pages open flat when you want to work on them. All of them. I don't even want to live to count them. But, isn't this wonderful? Thank you, Sandy, through Rachel to Carol. Thank you so much. So, here they are. And I suppose it is vaguely possible to glue. I'm not going to do that. I've had enough gluing experience today. So, here we have it. Here we have it painted yellow. And I found this white grosgrain. It was on packaging in my drawer. Had to be sewn together. And I thought, I wonder if my sewing machine will work. Well, surprisingly, it did. It truly did. Even on the back. Now, instead of one long pocket, now there are two and one here, because I didn't plan ahead, but that's okay. It's fine. But here, the needle bent. Oh, I can do this. Well, this $96 Singer sewing machine from Joann's did sew beautifully until the needle bent. Well, that's okay. Then, for the first time ever, I'm changing a needle. There was no turning the screw. Pliers didn't work because they were too long. My husband's strong fingers didn't work. He said, I've got to make a tool. Now, when you are married for 5,000 years to the same man who was before he became taught machine shop in high school, he was a machinist, of course. So he said, I'll be right back, out to his airplane making shop, and he comes back with this. I can't begin to tell you how this just turned that screw. Something that simple. Incredible the way his mind works. Okay, so I was starting to smile. So I finished around here. And of course, this is a glitch and that aggravates me, but I'm going to work very hard at overcoming that urge. But I thought to myself, sitting here, grumbling to myself that, and when I finally got the needle working and everything was cool, and I was going to start to sew, go on, you know, the bobbin was empty. And it took me 10 times to get the self-threader on the machine to work, and after I got the bobbin wreath, I didn't want to pull out the thread, but I had to. Long story short, the needle threader worked first shot. So I thought, well, things are turning around. I finished it. And here we have this little puppy that is going to go in here. I can do this. Yes, I can, and make it look like it's very, very important. And very, very fat, but that's okay. So, we have that. And even the bow came out, you know, after a half an hour of fighting the sewing machine. Okay, so, my shares. I thought, what am I going to put here? It needs something, something. Well, I forgot to I bought these at my last trip to Joann over the weekend, and it was one of the newer stores that must have had newer stock, and these had not been touched before. And so, these are chenille. Oh, they're so soft and delicious. So I got a half a yard of each of these at Joann Fabric, and they're made on black tulle. So that's my share, and now look, this made me so happy. It was like, I can't believe it. So let's go with the art glitter glue. Could stick anything to anything, simply and easily. Love, love, love it, especially for things like this. Especially for things like this. Well, I'm tickled. I'm so tickled. It's almost redeemed me for being this crazy. But two things we learned, and I'm certainly going to be using this technique for little journals. Visit Rachel at Roxy Creations. I think her last video, maybe it's a two-part recent video, and see what it looks like when it's not outrageous. And from what you see, the beautiful Italian Florentine papers and the coffee dyed papers, etc., and the gorgeous ephemera, and then from that I took, I'm going to use this, which was I'm so happy that I was able to use this and use it so well, but then somehow that spread to that. And then, though, I did find out a sweet, unexpected goodie, that these pages open flat. Yay for what I'm going to use them for. So, thank you so much, and I'm so happy that you didn't have to see the misery of the sewing machine. But this saved the day. If you have enjoyed today's exhibition of Carol not getting the hint about size, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I would appreciate your subscribing to my channel. Let's have a little closer look here. Beautiful, beautiful paper. And I'm happy that I made the inside of the cover yellow. I guess that's where I got the idea from. And here, and the little owie, and that's okay. And a book of scrap papers that opens flat. Bye now.